Hello and welcome to the Expensive Coins History channel. Did you know that some Washington quarters could be worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars? Today, we're counting down the top 9 most valuable Washington quarter dollar coins and what makes them so special. Whether you're a collector or just curious, you won't want to miss this. Let's dive in. The 1972 Washington quarter with no mint mark. Many people come across this coin and wonder if the missing mint mark makes it rare, valuable, or potentially worth a large amount of money. In this video, we will explore the history behind the 1972 quarter, the reason it has no mint mark, how to determine whether it is special, and what its current market value looks like in today's coin collecting world. Let's begin with the background of the coin itself. The 1972 Washington quarter is part of the long-running series first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design created by sculptor John Flanagan features the familiar portrait of Washington on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse. By 1972, these quarters were no longer made of silver. Instead, like all quarters minted from 1965 onward, they were produced using a copper core clad with a copper-nickel alloy, giving the coin its distinctive shine and durability. When collectors hear the term "no mint mark," many assume it refers to a rare error coin. However, in 1972, the Philadelphia Mint did not place mint marks on its quarters. That means the absence of a mint mark is not an error at all but the standard way Philadelphia quarters were issued. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 215 million quarters that year, making the 1972 no mint mark quarter a very common coin. Because of this extremely large mintage, most examples found in circulation today hold no rarity premium. Even though the coin itself is common, condition plays an enormous role in determining value. A typical 1972 quarter that has passed through decades of pocket change, vending machines, and circulation usually shows wear. These circulated examples generally carry a value of exactly what they say on the front, 25 cents. That is because there are still millions of them available, and collectors do not pay a premium for circulated pieces that show scratches, discoloration, or worn surfaces. However, the story changes when you examine coins that were never used in circulation. Uncirculated 1972 quarters, often found in old mint sets, rolls, or collections saved decades ago, can be worth more. Coins in low uncirculated grades may bring only $1 to a few dollars, but nicer pieces with sharp details, no wear, and full mint luster can command higher prices. Coins that have been professionally graded and certified as high-end mint state examples may sell for significantly more, especially if they stand out with exceptional eye appeal. The highest values come from coins graded at the top of the mint state scale, such as MS-66, MS-67, or above. These represent only a tiny fraction of all 1972 quarters ever made. Even though millions were struck, only a very small number survive today in pristine, untouched condition because coins were typically not saved carefully during this period. When a collector finds a flawless example, the rarity lies not in the date or the missing mint mark but in the superb preservation. Such high-grade coins can bring strong prices at auctions, sometimes reaching several $100s or more depending on the final grade, the quality of the strike, and the level of competition among collectors. Another factor that can impact value is the presence of mint errors. While a normal 1972 Philadelphia quarter does not classify as an error, genuinely misstruck coins can be worth more. Errors like off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, or coins with missing clad layers may attract considerable collector attention. The value of an error coin depends heavily on how dramatic the mistake is, how visible it is to the naked eye, and how well preserved the coin remains. Some dramatic off-center strikes of 1972 quarters can sell for hundreds of dollars, while more subtle factory mistakes may be worth tens of dollars. Always be cautious, though, because damaged coins are often mistaken for errors. True mint errors show specific signs that experts recognize. When assessing your own 1972 no mint mark quarter, pay close attention to the following: the level of wear, the sharpness of Washington's hair detail, the visibility of the eagle's feathers, the brightness of the luster, and whether the surfaces are clean or marked by scratches or discoloration. A coin that looks bright, sharp, and free of damage has a better chance of being valuable, especially if it could qualify for certification by a professional grading service. Collectors often prefer coins that not only have a high numerical grade but also possess strong visual appeal, often described as having a smooth finish, well-defined details, and a brilliant, original sheen. Today's market for 1972 no-mint mark quarters remains strong for high-grade pieces and error coins, but common circulated examples still trade at face value. The coin continues to interest collectors because it represents an accessible and affordable entry point into the Washington Quarter series. Its design is iconic, its history spans many decades, and despite its common status, it still offers opportunities for valuable finds if you happen to come across an exceptional example. For most people who discover this coin in pocket change, the realistic expectation is that it is worth 25 cents. However, if you come across a coin that looks nearly flawless, untouched, or dramatically misstruck, it may be worth taking a closer look, getting opinions from experienced collectors, or even sending it for grading. The 1972 no-mint mark Washington Quarter is not rare by default, but in the right condition it can still be worth significantly more than face value. The absence of the mint mark is standard for Philadelphia quarters of the era and does not add rarity on its own. Instead, the true value lies in exceptional preservation or the presence of genuine mint errors. As with many coins, what appears ordinary can become extraordinary when the right combination of condition and uniqueness comes together. If you have found one of these coins, take your time examining it. Who knows, you might be holding something far more interesting than you first imagined. The 1980p mint mark Washington Quarter, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance but carries historical significance, collectible interest, and in the right condition, surprising value. If you've ever wondered whether that 1980 quarter sitting in your change jar might be worth more than 25 cents, stay tuned, because we're breaking down its history, rarity, what makes certain examples valuable, and the current market prices collectors are paying today. Let's begin with a bit of history. The year 1980 marked an important moment in U.S. coinage. It was the first time the Philadelphia Mint placed the letter P on the Washington Quarter. Before 1980, Philadelphia rarely used a mint mark on circulation coins, so this small letter represented a shift in the mint's production tradition. The Washington Quarter itself had already been in circulation since 1932, originally created to honor the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. By 1980, the design was well established, but the introduction of the P mint mark gave that year's coins a subtle but important identity. The 1980 P quarter was struck in huge numbers. Over 600 million pieces were produced in Philadelphia alone, making it one of the highest mintage quarters of its era. This enormous production run means most 1980 P quarters are still very common today, still found in pocket change, bank rolls, and old jars of coins. The coin is made from a copper core with outer layers of copper nickel, the standard clad composition used on quarters since 1965. Because it contains no silver, its melt value is extremely low, so the coin's collectible worth depends almost entirely on its grade, condition, and whether it has any special characteristics. Now, what makes a 1980 P quarter potentially valuable? For most examples, the answer is the condition. Circulated coins that show wear, scratches, flattened details, or dull surfaces are usually worth face value. These are the quarters that have been passed through hands for decades, used in everyday transactions, rubbed against other coins, and exposed to the elements. A well-used example almost never brings more than 25 cents. But once we move into the realm of uncirculated coins, the story changes. A bright, clean, mint-state 1980 P quarter with original luster and a sharp strike can sell for a premium. Collectors often look for examples preserved since the day they left the mint, coins with no wear at all, clean surfaces, and crisp fine details on Washington's portrait and the eagle on the reverse. In these higher grades, values can creep into several dollars, and in especially high grades, they may reach into the teens. The real excitement, however, comes from the very highest quality examples. Perfect or near-perfect coins graded at the upper end of the mint state scale can be worth significantly more than common uncirculated pieces. These coins are extremely difficult to find because even tiny imperfections, such as a single hairline scratch, a weak strike, or a slight contact mark from another coin prevent them from earning top grades. A nearly flawless 1980p quarter may sell for hundreds of dollars to the right collector, but it must be certified, visually superior, and noticeably exceptional when compared to typical uncirculated coins. Apart from grade, another factor that can add value is the presence of a mint error. While not extremely common for this year, there are examples of 1980p quarters with striking errors, clipped planchets, off-center strikes, or other unusual minting issues. Authentic mint errors can attract collectors who specialize in these anomalies, and depending on the size and eye appeal of the error, they may bring well above normal market value. Still, errors must be genuine, and minor imperfections or damage from circulation do not count. To determine whether your coin is worth anything above face value, examine it carefully. Look first at the overall condition. If the high points of Washington's hair are worn smooth, or if the eagle on the reverse has flattened wings or missing feather details, the coin has circulated and carries little premium. But if the details are sharp, the luster is strong, and the surfaces are clean, you may have a mint state coin. Using a magnifier, inspect for scratches, contact marks, discoloration, or worn edges. The fewer marks and imperfections you find, the better your coin stands in the eyes of a collector. For serious value, certification matters. Coins graded by professional grading services receive numerical grades on the 60 to 70 scale, with higher numbers indicating greater preservation and desirability. A certified mint state coin in the upper grades is far more appealing to buyers than an uncertified one, because the grade is guaranteed and documented. Certification also makes it easier to sell the coin at its true market value. So what are collectors paying for these coins today? A circulated 1980p quarter generally trades for face value. A typical uncirculated example might sell for a few dollars. High-grade mint state pieces can sell for $10 to $15 or more, depending on the exact grade and visual quality. Exceptional examples, particularly those at the highest certified levels, can reach into the hundreds, but such coins are incredibly rare. Error coins vary widely depending on the type and severity of the error, with some minor errors bringing modest premiums and major errors commanding much more. The 1980p Mint Mark Washington Quarter is a coin that blends common everyday familiarity with pockets of surprising rarity and value. While the majority of these coins remain common and worth only a quarter, a small number of superior or unusual examples stand out enough to attract interest and strong bids from collectors. Whether your coin is an ordinary piece of pocket change or a special find worth significantly more depends entirely on its condition, its strike quality, and whether it carries a distinctive error. If you're examining your own 1980p quarter, take your time, look closely, and compare it to reference photos of mint state coins. You may just discover that what looked like a simple 25-cent piece has more to tell, and perhaps even more to offer, than you expected. 1982 D Washington Quarter. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary coin you might find in pocket change, but as we break down its background, production details, rarity, and current market value, you'll see why this coin occasionally sells for significant amounts of money. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the full story behind this interesting modern-era quarter. The Washington Quarter has been a part of American coinage since 1932, originally introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. By 1982, the design had already been in circulation for half a century. Although earlier Washington quarters were made of silver, the 1982 coins were struck in copper-nickel clad. The Denver Mint produced the version carrying the D Mint mark, which appears on the obverse side of the coin, just beside Washington's bust. Even though these coins were made in large numbers, over 480 million of them, they have a unique place in modern numismatics. The reason is that in 1982, the United States Mint did not issue traditional uncirculated mint sets. This unusual decision has had a long-lasting effect on collector demand for high-grade coins from that year. Without the usual production of mint sets, far fewer pristine examples of the 1982 D quarter were saved directly from the mint in uncirculated condition. Most of them entered circulation immediately and were used for years, accumulating wear. Because of this, collectors today find it extremely difficult to locate truly sharp, high-grade examples, most 1982D quarters found today are heavily circulated. If your coin shows wear, scratches, or dull surfaces from long circulation, it is generally worth only its face value of 25 cents. Lightly circulated examples sometimes sell for a small premium, but this is usually less than $1. These values are typical because circulated examples are still common. The real interest begins when we talk about uncirculated and high-grade coins. An uncirculated 1982D quarter that has never seen pocket use may be worth a few dollars. While that is not life-changing money, it is still significantly more than face value. The difficulty is finding such a coin in a truly untouched state. The more flawless the coin appears, the more desirable it becomes to collectors. Things become even more dramatic when we enter the realm of certified mint state coins. These are coins submitted to professional grading services, where expert numismatists examine the surfaces under magnification and assign an official grade. A 1982D quarter graded MS-63 or MS-64 might bring in around $10 to $20. Coins graded MS-65 or MS-66 can be notably more valuable, reflecting their rarity in those grades. The finest known examples, graded MS-67 and MS-68, are exceptionally scarce because virtually all 1982D quarters experienced scratches, contact marks, or wear before they were ever saved. In the past, some of these top-grade coins have sold for thousands of dollars at auction. These sales represent the extreme upper end of the market, but they demonstrate just how significant condition and preservation are when it comes to modern coin values. In addition to grade, certain types of mint errors can also elevate a coin's value. Errors such as off-center strikes, double strikes, missing clad layers, or coins struck on an incorrect planchet can command strong premiums. These coins were not intentionally made but slipped through the minting process with mistakes that collectors now find appealing. If you come across an unusual 1982D quarter with odd coloration, an off-center design, or abnormal thickness, it might be worth having it examined by a professional. If you are evaluating a 1982D quarter yourself, start by checking the basics. Look closely for signs of wear on Washington's hair, cheekbone, and jawline. Examine the lettering around the rim to see whether it is sharp and distinct. A coin with soft details is almost certainly circulated. Always avoid cleaning a coin, as even well-intentioned cleaning attempts cause scratches that dramatically reduce value. If the coin appears crisp and lustrous with no signs of wear, you may have a candidate for grading. Professional grading can be worthwhile if the coin appears to be in exceptionally high mint condition. For the majority of people, the 1982D quarter and their change is likely to be an ordinary circulating example worth only 25 cents. But for some lucky collectors or sharp-eyed treasure hunters, there are genuine opportunities to find a much more valuable piece. The combination of high mintage and scarcity in pristine condition makes this coin one of the more interesting modern quarters to search for. So, what does the current market look like today? Circulated examples remain worth face value. Lightly worn coins may sell for slightly more, usually under $1. Uncirculated examples often bring a few dollars to perhaps the $10 range depending on quality. Professionally graded coins in mid-mint state levels can sell anywhere from tens to hundreds of dollars. The highest quality pieces, especially MS-68 and above, have reached the multi-thousand-dollar level when they appear at auction. As with all collectible coins, actual value depends heavily on demand, grading results, and overall appeal. The 1982D Washington quarter is a coin with a fascinating blend of history and modern rarity. It is a reminder that even in the modern era, a coin struck by the millions can still become a prized collectible if preserved in exceptional condition. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone who simply enjoys checking your change, it's always worth taking a second look at the date and mint mark on your quarters. You never know when one of them might be a hidden treasure. 1986 P Mint Mark Washington Quarter. At first glance it may seem like an ordinary piece of pocket change, but as you'll learn in this video, certain examples can be worth far more than 25 cents. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the history, rarity, and current market value of this coin that continues to capture the attention of collectors across the country. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932, originally introduced to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin features Washington's portrait on the obverse and an eagle with outspread wings on the reverse. For decades, this design was minted in massive numbers and became one of the most familiar coins in circulation in the United States. By 1986, the Philadelphia Mint produced the Washington quarter in staggering quantities. The Mint Mark P identifies these coins as Philadelphia issues. More than 500 million quarters were struck that year, making the 1986 P one of the most common quarters of the 1980s. Because of the extremely high mintage, this coin circulated everywhere, through vending machines, grocery stores, laundromats, and gas stations. Millions of them were pocketed, spent, respent, tossed in jars, and handled daily for decades. That heavy use means that most surviving 1986 P quarters today show significant wear. Unlike older quarters minted before 1965, the 1986 P is not made of silver. It has a copper-nickel clad composition, which means it contains no precious metal. Because of that, the intrinsic metal value of this coin is very low. Its collectability is determined not by what it is made of, but by how well it has been preserved and the sharpness of its strike.in circulated condition. Most 1986 P quarters are worth only their face value. If you find one in your spare change, chances are it has been through decades of wear. Scratches, scuffs, dull surfaces, worn rims, and faded details all dramatically reduce value. For the vast majority of these coins, the worth still remains 25 cents, and that is perfectly normal for such a heavily produced, heavily used modern quarter. However, the story becomes much more interesting when we talk about uncirculated and high-grade examples. Only a small fraction of the original mintage escaped circulation and remained in pristine condition. To be considered collectible, a coin must show no signs of wear and must display its original luster, clean surfaces, and sharp design details. These features are what attract collectors and determine value in the coin market. Ungraded but uncirculated examples typically sell for a small premium, often just a few dollars. But when a coin is professionally graded by a major grading service and receives a high mint state grade, the value can increase dramatically. Coins graded in the mid-60s range are considered attractive for collectors who want modern issues in high condition, and these coins can be valued at several dollars to over $10 depending on appearance, strike, and demand. Where things become genuinely exciting is at the very top of the grading scale. Mint State 67 is an exceptionally high grade for a quarter from the 1980s. Only a tiny number of coins survive in this condition. These are coins that were preserved with extraordinary care from the moment they left the mint. Because they are so rare in this near-perfect state, they become extremely desirable to collectors. An example in this grade has sold for thousands of dollars at auction, demonstrating just how valuable the finest known examples can become. The reason for this sharp difference in value is simple. While there are hundreds of millions of 1986 P quarters, only a handful are nearly flawless. When supply is massive but top-quality examples are scarce, those top-quality examples become premium collector items. It is this combination of commonness in low grades and extreme rarity in superb grades that creates such an interesting dynamic in the market. If you want to know whether your 1986 P quarter has potential value, start by examining its condition closely. If it shows any wear at all, smooth spots on Washington's cheek, loss of mint luster, faint details on the eagle, or general dullness, it is almost certainly worth only face value. On the other hand, if the coin looks bright, crisp, and free from wear, it may be uncirculated. From there, collectors pay close attention to marks, scratches, and the overall eye appeal. A coin with clean fields and strong strike details is much more desirable. If you believe yours is in unusually high condition, it may be worth considering professional grading. Certification gives the coin an official grade, which helps establish its market value and makes it easier to sell to serious collectors. Without certification, buyers are often cautious. With certification, a high-grade coin can command a strong price in today's market. The typical 1986 P quarter remains extremely affordable in most conditions. It holds face value in circulation, a few dollars in uncirculated but ungraded condition, and greater value in certified mint state condition. High-grade examples in MS-65 and MS-66 can sell for noticeably more, and the extremely rare MS-67 examples remain the true treasures of this issue, capable of reaching impressive prices at auction.so. While most 1986 P Washington quarters are not rare and not particularly valuable, the very best survivors are worth paying attention to. It's always worth taking a moment to look carefully at any quarter that appears unusually sharp or well-preserved. You never know when a seemingly ordinary coin might turn out to be a hidden gem. The 1987 P Washington quarter may look like a typical coin you'd find in your pocket change, but behind its simple appearance is a fascinating history, a massive production story, and a surprising truth about how much it can be worth today. In this video, we're going to explore the origin of this coin, why most examples are still only worth 25 cents, and what rare conditions or qualities can make a 1987 P quarter worth far more than face value. Make sure you watch to the end, because some collectors have paid impressive amounts for exceptional specimens. The 1987 Washington quarter continues the long-running series originally introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington. By 1987, the design had become iconic in American coinage. The quarter features John Flanagan portrait of Washington on the obverse, while the reverse displays a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings. Even though this design had been used for decades by that point, it remained an important symbol of American currency during a time of modernization in minting technology. In 1987, the Philadelphia Mint produced an enormous number of quarters, and the 1987 P quarter is no exception. With well over 500 million pieces struck, this issue is one of the most heavily produced modern quarters of its time. That means most 1987 P quarters went straight into circulation, being used in everyday transactions, vending machines, cash registers, and pocket change across the country. Because of this, the overwhelming majority of these coins exhibit noticeable wear, scratches, scuffs, and dulling that naturally occur from decades of circulation. Unlike pre-1965 quarters, which were made of silver, the 1987 quarter uses a modern clad composition. It has a copper core layered between two outer layers of copper-nickel alloy. This composition makes the coin durable and corrosion-resistant, but it also means there is no intrinsic metal value. The worth of this coin depends entirely on condition, rarity in high grade, and collector demand, not on precious metal content. Now, because of the huge production numbers, the 1987 P Washington quarter is generally considered a common coin. In circulated condition, which is how most people find it, the coin is only worth its face value. Even though the coin is several decades old, age alone does not make a coin valuable. Scarcity and condition are what matter, and in this case, scarcity simply isn't there for circulated examples. However, the story is different when it comes to coins in exceptional condition. A small number of 1987 P quarters were preserved right from the start, kept out of circulation, and protected in brilliant uncirculated condition. These examples, especially those stored in original mint sets or in secure collections, may retain their original luster and sharp, crisp details. Coins like this can be worth more, sometimes several dollars depending on appeal. Where the value truly increases is in the highest mint state grades. Coins with pristine surfaces, no visible wear, no contact marks, and strong appeal can achieve top certified grades. These high-end specimens are uncommon because most 1987 P quarters were circulated hard. The coins that remain in exceptional mint state condition are scarce, and collectors are willing to pay strong premiums for them. In some rare cases, a perfectly preserved example graded at the highest levels can sell for impressive amounts, reaching well into the upper hundreds of dollars. Although these sales are not typical, they demonstrate how significant the condition factor is for modern clad quarters. What truly separates an ordinary coin from a valuable one is attention to detail. A high-grade 1987 P quarter will display sharp lines in Washington's hair, strong definition in the eagle's feathers, original mint luster across both sides, and no significant scratches or dings. These qualities are extremely difficult to find in a coin that has been in everyday use for nearly 4 decades. That is why collectors who specialize in modern coins are always on the lookout for perfectly preserved examples. If you happen to find a 1987 P quarter in your pocket, chances are it will be worth 25 cents. But if you discover one that looks unusually sharp, bright, and untouched, it may be worth inspecting more closely. Tilt it under a light and check for the original mint shine. Look closely for any marks or signs of wear. If the coin appears flawless or nearly flawless, it might be worth submitting to a professional grading service, because authentication and grading can dramatically increase collector confidence and value. For those who collect coins or search through rolls, the 1987 P quarter is a reminder that not all value is found in age or rarity, sometimes it lies in condition. In a sea of hundreds of millions of circulated pieces, a few pristine survivors stand out as treasures. And while most examples may only be worth their face value, the finest specimens can be worth far more than most people imagine. So, if you come across a 1987 Washington quarter from the Philadelphia Mint, take a moment to look closely. You never know when a common coin might reveal uncommon potential. And even if it doesn't turn out to be rare or extremely valuable, it remains a fascinating piece of American coinage history, representing a time when billions of coins flowed from the United States Mint into the everyday lives of millions of Americans. 1998 D Mint Mark Washington Quarter, a coin that many people still have sitting in their pocket change, coin jars, or old drawers without realizing its significance. In this video, we will dive into its background, why collectors pay attention to it, the factors that influence its value, and what the current market is showing for this final year classic design quarter. The 1998 D Washington Quarter holds a special place in numismatic history because it marks the end of an era. For more than 6 decades, the Washington Quarter featured the familiar and traditional heraldic eagle on the reverse, a design that began in 1932. But 1998 was the very last year this classic reverse appeared before the United States Mint launched the massive state quarters program in 1999. That shift changed the look of the quarter forever, introducing rotating reverse designs that caught the attention of millions of casual collectors. Because of this, the 1998 edition stands as the closing chapter of a long-running design series that many older collectors admire, and many new collectors discover as they explore modern U.S. coins. The Denver Mint struck the 1998 D quarter in very large numbers, well over 800 million pieces. Because of this, most circulated examples are extremely common. For the average person finding one in change, it usually goes unnoticed as just another quarter. Its metal composition is the standard copper-nickel clad used for most circulation quarters since 1965, with a familiar weight and feel that makes it indistinguishable from the quarters we use today. However, the difference in value comes not from what the coin is made of but from the condition in which it survives. Like many modern circulation coins, the majority of 1998 D quarters have endured years of use. They show signs of wear, scratches, and dulling from routine handling. In these conditions, the coin typically holds only its face value. But a small percentage of these coins escaped circulation entirely. They were preserved, collected early, or set aside in rolls or mint sets. These pristine pieces show bright luster, sharp details, and crisp features. Coins in this condition can be worth far more than 25 cents. Professional grading plays a major role in determining how valuable a 1998 D quarter can be. Collectors focus on mint state grades, especially those that fall into the higher end of the grading scale. A nicely preserved coin in mint state can bring a few dollars, sometimes more, depending on eye appeal. As the grade increases into MS-66 and MS-67, the coin becomes dramatically scarcer. Even though many millions were struck, only a tiny fraction remain in extremely high condition. This scarcity in top grades creates real collector demand and drives prices up significantly. Exceptional examples of the 1998 D quarter, especially those graded MS-67 or above, have sold for hundreds and in rare cases even more when appearing at auction. These coins are not just good-looking, they are nearly flawless, showing minimal contact marks, bright original mint luster, and sharply defined details. For collectors who specialize in high-grade modern coins, these pristine survivors are genuine trophy pieces. While the average coin is common, the finest examples are truly rare. Rarity in condition is one of the biggest value drivers for this coin. Casual collectors often assume that because a coin is modern, it must be worthless. But in numismatics, the survival of high-grade coins is often far more important than the total number minted. Even with hundreds of millions produced, the number of coins that remain in elite condition is extremely small, and that is why these top-tier examples command impressive premiums. Another factor affecting value is overall demand from collectors. Many people build date and mint mark sets of Washington quarters, and the 1998 D plays a role as the last classic design Denver issue. Some collectors also focus on the final year coins as symbolic pieces marking the transition from one era of U.S. coinage to another. This adds a layer of historical interest and helps maintain demand for high-quality pieces. For anyone who finds a 1998 D quarter at home, the first thing to do is examine its condition carefully. Look for sharp edges, bright surfaces, and the absence of wear. A coin that still appears shiny, with full detail and little to no signs of use, may be worth a closer look. If it appears particularly clean or uncirculated, you may want to store it in a protective holder until you can compare it with grading standards or have it evaluated by a professional. If you decide to sell, understand that grade and appearance determine almost everything. Circulated coins bring face value, slightly better coins bring a small premium, and truly uncirculated examples can bring very meaningful amounts depending on grade. Coins certified by well-known grading services often sell for more because the grade is trusted and verified. In today's coin market, the 1998 D Washington quarter continues to be a coin of interest, not because of metal value or scarcity in circulation, but because of its historical significance and the rarity of high-grade survivors. Whether you are a beginner collector or someone sorting through old coins, this is a piece you should definitely check closely. So next time you come across a 1998 D quarter, don't pass it off as ordinary pocket change. It represents the final chapter of a long-running American coin design, and in the right condition, it can be worth far more than its face value. Sometimes, history and value hide in plain sight, waiting for someone with a keen eye to notice. The 1999 P Mint Mark Washington, New Jersey quarter, a piece of American numismatic history that continues to intrigue collectors and history lovers alike. This coin is part of the famous 50-state quarters program, which was launched to celebrate each state in the Union, highlighting its culture, heritage, and contributions to the nation. The New Jersey quarter, released in 1999, stands out for its striking depiction of General George Washington crossing the Delaware River, a scene that captures one of the most pivotal moments in American history. The design is not only historically significant but also artistically compelling, combining intricate detail with symbolism that resonates deeply with collectors and history enthusiasts. The obverse side of the coin features the classic portrait of George Washington, which has been used for decades on U.S. quarters, updated slightly to give it a modern touch while maintaining the dignity and recognition of the iconic figure. The reverse, however, is where the New Jersey quarter truly shines. The depiction of Washington crossing the Delaware is accompanied by the phrase, "Crossroads of the Revolution," emphasizing the state's critical role during the American Revolution. Every element of the design was carefully chosen to convey a story, a sense of heritage, and a connection to the founding moments of the nation. The craftsmanship and attention to detail make this coin a favorite among collectors of state quarters. From a technical standpoint, the 1999 P New Jersey quarter is composed of a copper-nickel clad, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring approximately 24.3 millimeters in diameter. The P Mint mark indicates it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced a significant number of these coins to meet both circulation and collector demand. In fact, the mintage for this coin was exceptionally high, with over 360 million pieces produced. This massive production run ensures that the coin is relatively common and easily found in circulation, yet it does not diminish the historical and aesthetic value it holds for collectors. When it comes to rarity, the 1999 P New Jersey quarter is not considered rare in the traditional sense. Because of the high production numbers, the majority of these coins are still in circulation or have been retained by collectors as part of sets. That said, condition plays a crucial role in determining value. Circulated coins, which show signs of wear from everyday use, generally hold only their face value of 25 cents. However, uncirculated coins, which display no signs of wear and retain their original luster, can attract significantly more interest from collectors. Coins in exceptional condition, especially those graded professionally as mint state, may sell for a few dollars, with higher grades commanding higher premiums. Beyond condition, certain coins may be of greater interest due to minting errors or unique variations. While the standard 1999p New Jersey quarter is common, error coins, such as those with off-center strikes, double strikes, or other anomalies, can be far more valuable. Collectors often seek these errors because they are rare and add an element of uniqueness to a collection. For instance, a coin with a noticeably off-center strike can sometimes sell for significantly more than a standard uncirculated example, as these variations are highly sought after by specialized collectors. Despite its commonality, the 1999p New Jersey quarter holds a special place in the hearts of collectors because it was part of the inaugural years of the 50-state quarters program. It represents not only New Jersey's historical significance but also the excitement and enthusiasm that collectors felt when these state-specific coins were first released. The program encouraged millions of Americans to start coin collections, often for the first time, and the New Jersey quarter played a pivotal role in this wave of numismatic interest. If you happen to possess a 1999p New Jersey quarter in pristine condition, it could be worth considering professional grading. A high-grade coin, free of scratches and wear, can fetch more than its standard market value, especially if it is presented to collectors in an attractive and certified form. Conversely, circulated coins remain a reminder of history in your pocket or coin roll but are unlikely to appreciate substantially in value. The 1999p Mint Mark Washington New Jersey quarter is an iconic and historically significant coin that embodies the artistry, history, and tradition of the United States Mint. While most examples are common and retain only face value in circulation, high-grade specimens or coins with unique errors can be worth more and hold a special place in any collection. Whether viewed as a collectible, an educational piece, or simply as a tangible connection to American history, this quarter is more than just currency. It is a reminder of the stories, achievements, and heritage that define the United States. For collectors, understanding the coin's history, rarity, and condition is key to appreciating its true value, both monetarily and culturally. 2000p Maryland State Quarter, a piece of American history that is part of the 50 States Quarter program. This quarter, like all in the series, was designed to celebrate the unique heritage and symbols of its respective state, and in this case, it honors Maryland, one of the original 13 colonies. While on the surface this coin may seem ordinary, there is a depth of history, design intricacy, and numismatic interest that makes it worthy of a closer look. The obverse of the 2000p Maryland quarter features the familiar profile of George Washington, maintaining the classic depiction that has graced the quarter for decades. The reverse is distinct to Maryland, displaying the Maryland State House Dome, a historically significant building that reflects the state's colonial and early American heritage. Surrounding the dome are elegant white oak branches and leaves, and the inscription, "The Old Line State," reminds us of Maryland's proud military history and its crucial role in the American Revolution. The combination of architectural detail and natural imagery demonstrates the thoughtful design that goes into state quarters, transforming a simple piece of currency into a miniature work of art. The P Mint mark indicates that this coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which in 2000 struck over 678 million Maryland quarters. Given this enormous production, the coin is not inherently rare, but that does not mean it is without value to collectors. Modern quarters such as this are typically composed of a copper-nickel clad, with a core of pure copper and outer layers that provide durability and a bright finish. Its size and weight are consistent with standard quarters, making it familiar and accessible to anyone who handles U.S. coinage. While most of these quarters are found in circulation and hold a value of 25 cents, the story changes when we consider condition, quality, and rarity. Coins that remain uncirculated, with sharp detail, no signs of wear, and full mint luster, can command higher premiums. Collectors seek these pristine examples because they represent the coin as it left the mint, an untouched piece of history that has survived the rigors of circulation. Beyond condition, certain anomalies or minting errors can dramatically increase a coin's value. Misstrikes, off-center designs, double dies, or other unusual features are rare and highly sought after in the numismatic community. However, such coins require verification by professional grading organizations to confirm their authenticity and determine their true value. Even with the massive number of Maryland quarters minted, specific error coins or exceptionally well-preserved uncirculated coins can attract significant interest. Coins graded at the highest levels, such as MS-67 or MS-68, are particularly desirable and often fetch multiple times their face value from collectors. On the other hand, ordinary circulated coins remain common and are generally only worth their face value. This distinction emphasizes the importance of condition, authenticity, and market demand in determining the worth of any coin. In practical terms, if you find a 2000p Maryland quarter in your pocket, it is likely worth just 25 cents. Yet, if you are fortunate enough to possess one in flawless condition or with a verified mint error, the story is entirely different. Such coins become collectible treasures, offering a tangible connection to both Maryland's history and the broader narrative of American coinage. Collectors and enthusiasts often take great care in preserving these coins, understanding that the combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance defines their value. Understanding the 2000p Maryland quarter is not only about evaluating potential monetary worth. It is also about appreciating the artistry, the historical symbolism, and the meticulous work of the U.S. Mint in creating a coin that celebrates a state while remaining a functional piece of currency. For collectors, this coin serves as a reminder that even seemingly ordinary coins can hold extraordinary stories, and that the careful eye of a numismatist can uncover value where most see only change. Ultimately, the 2000p Maryland State Quarter is a fascinating example of modern U.S. coinage. It represents a bridge between everyday currency and collectible treasure, between history and artistry. While many circulate widely and remain in pockets and drawers, the uncirculated, pristine, and error-struck examples stand out as prized possessions for collectors. They are a testament to the enduring appeal of coin collecting, the subtle thrill of discovering value, and the appreciation for the historical and artistic heritage embedded in every coin. Whether as part of a collection, a gift, or a personal exploration of numismatics, the Maryland quarter offers more than its face value. It embodies history, craft, and the possibility that even a simple quarter can hold a story worth exploring. The 2004 P Texas Quarter. Released as part of the program that celebrated each of the 50 states, this particular coin represents Texas, known as the Lone Star State, and carries both historical significance and a design that captures the spirit of the state. The 2004 P Texas Quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the P Mint mark, and it was released in large numbers, making it widely available in circulation. Yet there are aspects of this coin that make it interesting to collectors. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of George Washington, a design that has been consistent on U.S. quarters for generations, symbolizing the nation's founding and continuity. The reverse showcases the outline of Texas with a large lone star prominently placed, celebrating Texas' entry into the Union in 1845. The design communicates both state pride and national unity, and the intricate details of the star and state outline demonstrate the careful craftsmanship of modern U.S. coinage. The coin is composed of a copper-nickel clad, giving it durability for circulation while maintaining the classic appearance and feel of a quarter. It weighs just over 5.5 grams and measures slightly over 24 millimeters in diameter, maintaining the standard specifications for quarters of this era. Despite its wide availability, the 2004 P Texas Quarter is more than just a common piece of pocket change. Its value to collectors can vary dramatically depending on condition and rarity. Standard circulated examples are very common and generally trade at or near face value, but uncirculated coins, especially those in mint state condition, can command a modest premium. Coins that are free from scratches, wear, and handling marks are far more desirable to collectors. High-grade examples, especially those graded by professional services, may be worth significantly more, with exceptional specimens reaching prices well above a typical quarter. Some collectors also look for error coins or unusual varieties, which can be much more valuable. Minor anomalies such as weak strikes, die errors, or other minting irregularities can create coins that stand out from the millions produced. While these error coins are rare, they are highly sought after by numismatists and can fetch prices far beyond their face value, sometimes even hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on the rarity and the severity of the error. Such coins often require verification from professional grading services to ensure authenticity and to determine the extent of the minting anomaly. When assessing a 2004 P Texas quarter, it is important to carefully examine the coin's condition. Circulated coins may show signs of wear or discoloration, reducing their value. Uncirculated coins, particularly those that are pristine and free of defects, hold a higher value. The market value of these coins fluctuates depending on collector demand, the coin's grade, and whether it possesses any unique characteristics. While most coins remain close to their face value, rare high-grade examples and verified error coins represent a small subset that is highly collectible and can be considered an investment for serious collectors. In conclusion, the 2004 P Texas quarter is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history. It represents both the individual pride of Texas and the collective heritage of the United States through the 50 States Quarters program. While the majority of these coins remain common and modest in value, there are opportunities for collectors to find coins in exceptional condition or with unusual characteristics that can make them far more valuable. Whether you are a casual collector or a serious numismatist, understanding the history, design, and potential value of the 2004 P Texas quarter can enhance appreciation for this small yet significant piece of American history and ensure that when you hold one in your hand, you understand the story it carries. Thank you for watching. If you found this deep dive helpful or if you're passionate about learning the stories behind modern and vintage coins, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below about what coin you'd like to explore next. Your support helps us continue creating content for collectors everywhere. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and happy collecting.